Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. In our first story, a rude lady lost her car, which was towed away. Our OP, of course, contributed to this. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Here we go. Ma'am, no parking in the loading zone. I was delivering to a larger mixed retail strip mall in a Toronto suburb. The place doesn't have a rear delivery area, so by design there's a blocked-off area on the side of the complex to allow delivery vehicles, garbage, and couriers access to unload during the day. The place also has a medical center next door. That medical center charges for parking. The strip mall doesn't. So enterprising, cheap people will park and walk over, even though a multitude of signs prohibiting the practice are plastered all over the lot. So the complication is that loading area is closest to the medical arts building, has parking lines laid down, but is signed no parking, loading zone, 0800 to 1700, Monday through Friday. Dozens of cube trucks use this lot daily for their needs. However, it's not often that a full-size semi, me, has to use it. I need every inch of that lot to position properly so that I can get the freight off and on my merry way. Often I arrive and there's a single car or two occupying a space. They're a bother, but can be negotiated around easily. On this morning, I roll into the lot when a full-size Escalade pulls in behind me and parks right beside the loading ramp in the one spot that absolutely ruins my approach. There's literally 50 spots in the loading zone to choose from and like 500 spots in the actual parking lot. I roll down my window and motion I need to use the ramp. Now, most self-aware, self-conscious people would get the hint. Nope. Mrs. Self-Important decided that she's parked, y'all can deal. Unloads her booger eaters into the stroller and obviously ignores me as I'm protesting her parking choice. My parting shot, great example you're setting for your kids, lady, earned me some shade and a casual obscured middle finger salute. Fine then. I have nothing but time on my hands. Rushing around and in a hurry, I can solve that for you. Call the towing number on the sign, says they're less than an hour out. Then I call my store contact who spotted me reversing. He also called the towing company to complain. With an extra pair of eyes, I placed my truck inches from her back bumper and started unloading. Then Karma came calling, self-addressed to Mrs. Self-Important. A compactor garbage truck came through to empty out the mall's bins a little over to the right of Mrs. Self-Important's parking spot. After some eye rolls from the garbage truck driver, the empty bin miraculously managed to end up blocking her only path of escape after my tight squeeze parking. Oh crap, she's hemmed in now. So I got a crew of guys unloading me. We're all anxious knowing the crap's about to hit the fan. Finally, the fruits of our labor ripen. The tow truck arrives, looks at the situation we've created, and is nothing but laughs. He's snapping pictures of the mess. He dollies the wheels of the Escalade and slides it perfectly out and onto his flatbed. 10 minutes and he's gone. Security arrived during the tow out and remained. Sure enough, 90 minutes after leaving, Mrs. Self-Important is returning from the medical center, rugrats in tow. Goes from zero to righteous nuclear indignation in an instant, demands to know where her car is. One of the guys unloading me hollers, "Oh, the one blocking the ramp? It's towed." Her phone is out in an instant, videoing us, claiming harassment, theft, damages. She's on 911 in a flash, accusing us of stealing her car. Security quickly intervened, and in the most professional, condescending tone possible, explained the signs, the tow-away loading zone, and the contact for the company who towed it. The region's finest in blue show up and take over. I give a quick statement, and the officers basically say, civil matter. She ends up relenting, defeated, and a taxi is called. I wrap up unloading my truck under her murderous stare. So I'm rolling out and on my way. I get a text from my dispatcher. "You stealing people's cars now?" Good job. Just pity the car was towed before she seen she was blocked in. The Garbo's effort was wasted. And our second story. Luck or karma? A little background is necessary, bear with me. Alright, so I work the graveyard shift at a gas station in a semi-rough neighborhood that's seen several armed robberies in several weeks' time. Now, I moved here about 3 years ago from elsewhere where pumping gas before you pay is not even a thing. Completely foreign to me. Where I'm from, you either have to pay outside with a credit or debit card or come inside and prepay for fuel. Until card authorization or payment is received, the pumps will not function. Here, for some bizarre reason, you can pull the nozzle out and begin pumping without having inserted a card or prepaying. As the attendant, I don't even have to authorize the pump. This is commonplace in this city. Needless to say, this enables people to drive away without paying for gas, both on purpose and by accident, the latter being more frequent. Well, as you can imagine, this store keeps the till quite low at night. I immediately drop 20s and higher into the safe. We only accept $50 and $100 bills at night if your change will be $20 or less, simply because we often can't make change. There are signs on all the pumps, at both doors, on several cooler doors, by the coffee pots, and at both counter registers, and the drive-thru register stating that we may not be able to accept large bills and to ask the cashier. This is also commonplace here. Also, nearly everywhere else I've ever been, save for tiny little towns. So, a few months ago, a customer came in after pumping $12 worth of gas, grabbed a soda, and came to the register and slapped a $100 bill down. I apologized and said I couldn't accept the $100 and began to explain why. But before I could get more than a couple words out, he cuts me off and says, "You ain't got a choice. It's American currency." And he stood there looking smug. Conversation went as follows, paraphrasing. Me: "Sir, I know it's inconvenient, but we have signs up making this clear." I explain why here. Customer: "I ain't effing asking. You gonna take this cash cause it's all I got." Me: "I really wish I could, but it's impossible. We do have an ATM over there." Customer: "I ain't got no money in the bank. It's all here." He shows me his wallet, packed with hundreds. Me: "Well, look, it's only $12. If you leave me your ID, I'll let you leave to go get change somewhere. There's a supermarket down the road a bit. I'm sure they can make change." I don't usually do this unless it's an amount I'm willing to cover if they don't come back. If I allow them to leave without paying, it's my responsibility. The ID thing is just so they're more likely to come back. Customer: "I ain't got my ID on me, bro. I ain't got time for this crap neither." Customer walks away. I make sure to yell, "You can't leave without paying for the gas, sir." He gets in his car and drives off without paying. He left the soda, though. So now I grab the phone and go back to the office to review the footage while calling the non-emergency police number. After I get off the phone with the cops, I continue to look at the pump canopy footage, but the only clear shot was the front of the car, which had no license plate. The back was just barely blocked by an out-of-place garbage can. Sigh. I go back up front, and a few minutes later, a regular cop customer shows up and is talking about the incident with me. We both basically decide we probably can't figure out who it was, at least not the two of us at that time. Then the drive-thru goes off. So I asked the cop to wait a second. The person in the drive-thru asked for a Dr. Pepper, so I grabbed one and headed to the window. I get there, and it's the guy who drove off without paying. I open the window, and he says, "What I owe you, N-word?" I said, "Dollar total," and he threw a handful of quarters at me through the window. Hard. Turned out to be $16.75 in coins, and speeds off. The cop was standing just out of sight, heard the commotion, and got in his cruiser immediately and pulled the guy over about 100 yards from the store. Fast forward about 40 minutes. The cop, with the guy cuffed in the back, comes back to get an official statement from me. It was a rough night, but with a satisfying ending. He must have been real thirsty to come back for that soda. And our last story. Walmart Karen tries to steal from a disabled person. I've encountered a Karen as a kid once, and one who was harassing someone else. But until today, never one of my own as an adult. So after fighting with a disability for 15 years, I finally got my mobility scooter. It's been a godsend, and the freedom is a wonder. But as I'm sure we've all learned, these things are a Karen magnet. And I learned it firsthand today. And on only my 5th time out on it. So first, quick background. I live in Surrey, BC, and my local Walmart is presently precisely 0 courtesy scooters for customers. They had 4, but all were either stolen or broken. So I'm at Walmart today just looking for a snack when suddenly I'm on the floor. It took me a moment to realize what had happened as I saw a woman in, I'm guessing her late 40s, taking my bags off my scooter. "What the hell are you doing?" I shouted. She sneers at me and replies that she's taking the store scooter because fat, lazy losers like me don't need it. She was, of course, perfectly able-bodied. Luckily, I've read enough Karen stories by now to know that if she was stupid enough to mistake a brand new mobility scooter with my name on it for one of those cheap gray scooters with the huge shopping baskets on it, there was no point even trying to reason with her. So I just shouted, "Security!" at the top of my lungs as she went wide-eyed and tried to get on it and drive away. Luckily, some staff were nearby, plus this Walmart had put up railings so that the only way to exit the store was to pass through the registers, so she had no real way to escape the store. The staff that were helping me called up security, and of course they caught her. She kept insisting it was the store scooter, that I didn't need it, yada yada. I pointed out where my name and number were engraved on it, but she stuck to her guns. Police were called, and after reviewing security footage, it was clear she had flat out assaulted me to get off the scooter, and that I was on camera entering the store from the mall entrance. She was, of course, arrested. And I got the customary gift card they always give victims of Karens, and a quick story to tell. Luckily, I think the worst I got from the fall was a bruised hip and a wrist sprain. Not the craziest story this sub ever had, but still thought I'd share while it was fresh in my mind. Update. Spoke to a RCMP officer this morning, and because they have the store security footage, I can avoid having to come to court for her assault charge if I write out a victim impact statement. So she's being charged with assault along with the theft over $2,000 charge. U.S. equivalent is grand larceny, I believe. Even if it was a store scooter, shoving someone off to take it is mental. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.